So today is a exciting day. I've been waiting for a little while to do this. Not just the video, but to actually do the work that I'm trying to do. Today, we are going to be clearing land for food plots so I can do a little deer hunting on the property. So last year I found a section that was mostly already cleared out. Meaning that, so if you walk around my property right now, the wooded area I would say is about 75% thicket, meaning it's got briar patches and it's really just impossible to walk through. In the winter, I walk my property line because I try to walk it all the time or every so often just so you can keep tabs on everything. Make sure there's no poachers back there trespassing or anything like that. And it took me, and now I have a 7-acre property. It's not that big. But it took me, looking for my strap, it's right there. It took me about, let's say 4 hours for me to walk it. And because that's, once you go in the woods on my property, it's mostly thickets. So, what I did this year is I went and rented a bush hog. So, I'm going to be going back there, and there's actually an old logging trail that was used to cut timber off the property years ago. And that's the only spot that there's no trees growing right now. So we're going to go back there, and the old logging trails they're briars, probably I don't know, a foot or two taller than me, and I'm 5'9", 5'10", so they're about 6 or 7 feet tall. Now the brush cutter I got is a walk behind, and it's really only meant to cut brush that's like 5-10 inches tall. It's like a bigger lawnmower. But I think that since they're briars, one, they're either going to be brittle enough to break through, or two, they're going to be strong and green, and they're just going to wrap up around the blade. But this is my only option right now. My other option was to rent a mini excavator, but that gets substantially more expensive to do. So we're going to try this first. All right, so luckily I've already worked on this trail a little bit, and this is about halfway deep down my property in the woods. And so I got 2 acres of grass, and then I got 5 acres of woods, and it's pretty far back. It's about 900 feet back in. I would say it's about 300 foot wide, give or take 100 feet. I'm not really good at that. But anyway, I've already built the trail back here, and you can see this opening right here is the opening of the logging trail. And the logging trail kind of ends on my side like probably 20 feet that way, just because it's like a drop off and then there's a creek bed down there. But this way, it goes 200-300 feet. Now it probably goes 200-300 yards, but that's not my property because it's all subdivided now. So I'm going to clear to my property markers, and like I said last winter, or this past winter, I already went around and walked my trail, and when I did that, I put up huge yellow ribbons all around the property so I know exactly where my property lines are. So, funny story. Apparently I didn't ever plug my my headphones in, even though I was struggling for the entire first part of the episode to get that thing hooked up. The downfall is that I have a transmitter on my camera and I never plugged it in. So in this next clip you'll see that I realize that and I go plug it in, only to find out that the microphone I have on my chest doesn't work to begin with. So I spent the entire day, all day, without any audio. So we're going to be doing a lot of voiceovers in this thing. Not that you guys care, but here's what's going on. And so at this point in time, I'm picking up my camera and I'm pretty sure I'm just showing you guys what I'm about to do. And so this is a bush hog. And this bush hog ended up being a pain in my butt because apparently when I picked it up from Home Depot, the guy told me that he put brand new blades on it, which was a complete lie because I looked at these blades after using it for a while and it looked like the blade had honestly been through a gravel pit. So long story short, I got mad with Home Depot, which is who I got this from, and I shouldn't have. The guy made an honest mistake. He forgot that he had 3 of these bush hogs and he had put one set of good blades on one, or maybe he had forgot to put it on one. Anyway, I ended up with the bush hog that had terrible blades on it. So I spent the entire day, although I got most of the work done, I spent the entire day going back and forth from the house to this field to
to fix the belts because the belts kept popping off. And the belts on this thing, once they come off the pulleys, are not the easiest thing to put back together. So what I ended up doing is I ended up calling and explaining to the guys at Home Depot, and they told me, come on, bring it back. Even I hadn't finished all the work I was planning on doing, but I finished most of it. Anyway, they told me to bring it back, and they actually gave me a full refund. So I didn't ever have to pay anything, which kind of made me feel bad a little bit, but not really, because the guy, he didn't lie to me, but he did not tell me the truth. And so I ended up spending more time working on this bush hog than I did actually end up using it, which was kind of a disappointment in the end, because I really wanted to get this entire field done, or this entire logging trail done. But then I also wanted to do the entire perimeter around my property. Like I've been telling you guys how I went around and marked them all with yellow tape. I wanted to go cut a trail, but that didn't end up happening.
So the food plot consists of an old logging road, which we are going to convert into somewhat of a field. Now this probably won't be an excellent food plot this year, but as the years go on, I'll keep coming back here and mowing, and I'll keep planting down food plot mix or grass or some kind of something to keep the ground covered, because you know ground doesn't like to be covered. There's actually deer running through the woods right now. But anyway, we got about as far as you can see today, which is not very far. And we have a tree in the way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to continue to go. I'm just going to walk you down here. There's some of this stuff that's like overgrown and hanging from the trees. So we have to go in there and manually cut that out. There's no way to get that with the bush hog since it's hanging from the trees. All the roots and stuff have already been cut out. They're all dead. So we just got to go clear it all now. And it gets much more open back here as we continue to go. My old food plot is like 20 feet that way. And so they'll be walking between the two. I'll still plant that one. Especially because last year that's what this looked like. So this year it's mostly grass right now because of the mix that we have. I think has a little fescue mixed in it or some kind of grass for the deer to graze on to supplement, because they're not going to just give you all clover and all radishes or whatever. It's going to be a good mix. So there's a couple of dead trees right there. I pushed a couple of them out of the way yesterday, but we're just going to keep going. We got about another 100 feet or so that direction before we run into a property line. So this is actually going to end up being a really nice food plot. It's going to be actually a pretty decent size. I'd say it's going to be about 100 yards by the time we're done with it. It'll be about a football field, but it'll only be 20-30 feet wide, which is okay because it'll give us a nice shooting lane. I'm probably going to end up buying a tower tree stand, because I have a tree stand right now that is just a fixed ladder stand, but I don't think this tree might be strong enough to have a ladder on it. There's not really a whole lot of mature trees on my property though, so there's going to be a challenge there. So we're either going to do a tower, probably put right in the middle of the food plot, or we're going to have, I'm just going to move my ladder stand. I think there's got to be at least one. That one's decent. That one's about 12-15 inches wide. And hell, we even might just end up thinning out the woods all over the place. There's a lot, like if you look at it right now, there's a lot of undergrowth. So you can see like there's just about 1 million little trees. And so the idea is to come through here and clean out all the little trees so that these bigger trees have a chance to grow. Right now they're all being suffocated because they're on top of each other. And eventually these trees, the bigger trees will get bigger, and the little trees will they'll die off or get suffocated and stay so small. That's just how Mother Nature works. Trees will always find a way to get big. We're just going to help it along a little bit and try to cut it back. There's already some open spots around here that I'm looking at. So really it wouldn't be too much just to connect those, but I really need another man with a chainsaw to do so. And I got a buddy that was supposed to come today, but he had some work he had to get done. So maybe tomorrow or maybe the next day. We'll have to see how it goes. things right here. These things are awesome. They're Fiskars titanium superior blade technology. It's just a pair of branch cutters, but they're 1 3/4 what they advertise. I just cut that down. It was about 2 inches, and with no problem. Alright guys, that's really about all we can do with the brush hog down here. Everything, I'd really like it to be as wide as it was up there, which is about 30 feet or so, and it's only about 15 feet right here. But that's really because we're being stopped by stuff like this, where like this is all overhanging. I've already gotten up underneath there and it's nothing, it's all hanging from one of these tree branches. So when my buddy comes back and helps me with a chainsaw, it would be great to have one person with a chainsaw and then one person on the brush hog. Somebody can go through and cut all the trees down, and then somebody can come behind it and get all the brush out, or vice versa. They just work together. But this whole thing is like this. Like, I want to take down this tree right here that's overhanging, and a couple down there too. As far as you can see right there, that's our property line. And then also, if you turn around here, down there, as far as you can see, is our property. So this whole thing is going to be a really good food plot once it's done. There are some of like these trees and shit we have to clear out. There's a lot of stumps and stuff here. That's why you can see me tripping all over the place. I probably honestly just playing around those. Getting up every single stump through here is going to be a pain in the ass. We've already chopped them up pretty good, so they're going to open up and they're going to rot away pretty quickly. In 2 or 3 years they'll all be gone. Ideally, what I would love to do is to get a big tractor back here with a tiller on it and till up this whole thing, especially down here. Down here there's some really big humps where there's either been like water runoff, or tractors have like built up ditches for water runoff or something. I'd honestly like to smooth all that out all the way back. It'd be just a little flatter, but it's really nothing that's going to stop us now. We can go ahead, and I honestly don't even know how I'm going to seed this, because really the ground is covered with briar still. I'm hoping then in a couple weeks all this is dead and I can come back here and use the tiller or something. I've got a tiller, but it's about this wide, and it'll take me all day to till this up, but that might just be what we do. Honestly, I'd really like to have a tractor that had a tiller behind it so I could come through here and till everything up, but that'll be expensive. I'd really like to buy an old like 9N Ford tractor or old Massey Ferguson with a 3-point hitch on the back, and then get a tiller, because then I could get a tiller, I could get a seeder, I could get or not a seeder, but a rake. I could get all kinds of implements that would help me out. But that's not in the cards right now. That's a little too expensive for our budget we're trying to work with, so we're gonna make this work. I may just come through here. Maybe I can find a harrow or something a drag or something I can pull behind a lawnmower, just to scuff it up a little bit, and then I'll just throw seed down, and hopefully that direct sowing right on top of the grass. It's not all going to take, I know that, but if I could start some grass back here over the next couple years, it'll be really nice. And I'll keep all this, I'll come back here with the lawnmower now that I get everything. I might have to take some of these stumps out to get the lawnmower back here, but I'll come back here and just cut everything down, because I'm not going to rent this bush hog every year.